now we'll go over power ranking. Yes?
Yeah, power rankings. So we finished our draft recently, actually. So and then we have someone doing power rankings each week of just basically you've seen it like in the NFL or whatever. Like the teams are ranked for each week. They're like, oh, this team is the team to be. This is number one. And it goes all the way down for the reasons why. And the power rankings will shift each week depending on how well they perform, one week or consistently throughout the whole season.
Mm-hmm.
So for I have the week one power ranking pulled up right now. I'll give like a quick description. I'll read the description of each team and then tell you what Pokemon are on their team. So the number 10 team on the power rankings is the San Antonio Spiritomb, which is coached by Devontae. And I'm actually going to give the entire list of this team solely because there's something like noticeable to the team, like as a weakness wise. So the the Pokemon on the team are Alomomola, Cloyster, Gliscor, Gyarados, Latios, Manectric, Mega Gardevoir, Mega Scizor, Melodic, Pyukumuku, Sableye, Quagsire. So those are the Pokemon on the team. And like some things that are really, really noticeable for the team's weakness is it's extremely weak to grass, as well as the move Freeze Dry. Like the move Freeze Dry itself hits
3.
the team for super effective damage.
Yeah, 3. Gyarados, Gliscor, and Quagsire.
It hits the Gyarados for ×4. It hits the Gliscor for ×4. It hits the Latios super effectively. It hits Pyukumuku, Melodic super effectively. It hits Quagsire ×4. It hits Alomomola super effectively. So like, there's like a lot of things like that itself. It can be a big threat if you have like a strong ice type on your team. They'll easily be able to take advantage of that along with the fact that it's super weak to grass and electric as a team. Even though the team does have 3 Pokemon with an immunity to electric, which will kind of help it from just getting Volt Switch spammed and abused, it's something the team's definitely going to have to
play around.
They'll definitely have to, like, legit, San Antonio will have to think about this every single week, which is why, without a doubt, you can expect 1, if not 2 Pokemon with an immunity to electric coming each week. But to talk about what I think the face of the franchise should be, face of the franchise is
I don't think it's Latios. I think it's either Gyarados or Scizor. You?
Either Gyarados or Scizor. With my first looks at this team, the first thing I saw was this is one of only 2 teams that drafted 2 Megas. So what my first thoughts when seeing this team was that, like, oh wow, this team has 2 Megas on the team, and a lot of times that doesn't work well. But I looked at what 2 Megas they were, and it's Mega Scizor and Mega Gardevoir, and both of those 2 mons are so different from one another, and yet so like phenomenally strong offensively and possibly defensively, depending on how you use them. And like, so each week, like, you can't just prepare like, oh, I have to put everything into Mega Scizor or whatever, and then because then a Mega Gardevoir will bop you. So like each week, but the worst thing about having 2 Megas as like that could both possibly be the like MVP of the team or the star of the team is that you can't bring them both each week, which is kind of a hindrance to the team in my opinion. So like that's just what my thoughts on that were. Next team on the power rankings is Atlanta Halucha. Okay, and that's coached by Tristan or Tonic. He goes by both. So with that, when I first looked at this draft, I was like, okay.
What do you mean, really okay? It's got trash in there. Komo-o.
I know you hate Komo-o. Yeah, it's a mediocre mon. But yeah,
it's a pseudo and it's like trash. All right, go
draft,
on.
Okay, the OU part of the draft.
Okay.
Decent. All right, I was like, okay, I can agree with this. He drafted Greninja, Mega Diancie, and Skarmory. And I was just like, all right, like that's good. Looking at the rest of the team, like I'm not gonna say everything that's on the team, but everything really has. There's nothing like mon that specifically seems like weak and will never be brought in a week, or like, or there's like a role missing to the team. Like everything is fit and occupied, which is great. Like that's how you know you've drafted like a well-round-ish team. But typing was really something that
lackluster
struggled with when they drafted their team. So what happens is there's only 3 actual defensive mons on the team, which is okay. Like you don't need a lot, but those are all Skarmory and Gourgeist.
Mm-hmm.
And if you look at that, all of them are weak. And that can be really bad because fire is one of the most offensive types in the whole game. So if you bring a strong, fast fire type, you can, without a doubt, into their wall and then swing right back because they can't keep their wall in if they want to keep it alive for the rest of the team. And if not, if they switch out, then they're because the rest of his team is very squishy for the most part. Like it's really frail. So even if they resist it like Greninja, even if you switch a Greninja into a Fire Blast, it's taking like 30, 40, 50% depending on the Pokemon. And it can only switch in like one time. Mm-hmm. Like a really huge flaw in that team. What were your thoughts on it, Paco, besides the Komaho?
It's got a lot of, I think, redundant typings, like two things of the same typing. It's not, like you said, diverse. Aside from that, he does have one cool factor in which Greninja is both protein and battle bond.
Yeah, that's actually a really good thing. Like Greninja, really good mon for
like I can't see a week where he doesn't bring
this
it.
League. Yeah, like this is a great mon for the league. Like I honestly don't see him ever not bring Greninja because like Paco said, he has access to both Protean and access to Battle Bond, and because of that, like you actually don't know what Greninja you're gonna face because the Battle Bond Greninja, like so Ash Gren has like 3 sets that it runs a lot. And then normal Greninja has like 5 sets that runs a lot just on the ladder. So like that's like a really unpredictable mon. So I think without a doubt that's going to be like the star of this team.
Mm-hmm.
Next up is the Los Angeles Landorus, which is coached by G. Yes, his name is G. Mm-hmm. Just the letter.
Just the letter G.
And then when looking at Los Angeles, let me glance over the team real quick. Okay, yeah. I actually like I liked this team a lot when I first looked at it. I was like, wow. This is a once again, like it's one of those things where it seems like everything really but like it's kind of like what I said about Atlanta, how the team all fits its role, but I think super strong in these other roles, but then it lacks a little bit in one role, which is what I think is the number one weakness of which is the 3 Pokemon Arcanine, Normal Scizor, and Durant are on this team. And all 3 of them are the Pokemon that fit 2 roles on the team, but they're the only 3 Pokemon that fit those roles on the team. And then especially with Scizor and Durant, they're basically the same Pokemon, but Scizor is better. Like they're the same typing, they both fit the same role. It just seems like these 3 Pokemon are redundant and very easy to prepare for, which can hinder it because these are the only 3 Pokemon on the team that are good physical attackers, and they're also the only Pokemon on the team that are good physical walls. Mm-hmm. So it's gonna feel like these 3 Pokemon get really spread thin throughout like the each week, and teams are going to be able to prepare for them especially, and it's going to be pretty hard for Los Angeles to do against teams that really exploit this weakness.
Let's see, where was that? The main thing that I would never lose focus in while building for this team or playing against it is that he does not have a thunder electric he has no ground type to switch in, but he does have Mega Sceptile, which is really fast, and if it gets that special attack boost, you could, in case, be getting a sweep right there. And Lele prevents all of the priorities, and let's see, what else was I thinking? And that's the fact that priorities don't affect you. Gengar and Archeop's biggest weakness is Sucker Punch, just because, of course, Gengar dies, and Archeop's simply loses I guess some of its stats if it gets below half, I believe, is it?
Yeah, it's half.
Yeah, and
that's actually a really good point. Like that was built well for him. Yeah.
Yeah, and a Cellgore is pretty much one of the fastest mons, so like he can literally almost guarantee he's always gonna be hitting first. He doesn't need to bring Sticky Web. He doesn't need to bring tailwind. He has it all right there.
Uh huh. But yeah, with the next team is the Washington Wishcash, which is coached by Sam. And my thoughts on this team are actually strange. I don't know, like this team looks kind of weak to me, but at the same time, it has really good synergy, which is why I suppose it's number 7 on the list. Because um, is extremely weak to hazards. Like the team itself just gets bodied by hazards.
Mhm.
But along with that, the team has 3 different Pokemon that can remove hazards, which is kind of like counterintuitive to its weakness, so that can help that out. And then there's a lot of Mons on the team who are all weak to a common type, but then all the Mons that aren't weak to that type. So those are just some weird like pros and cons of how the team was built to way like it has weaknesses, but it has ways to combat those weaknesses. So like I'm like, all right, I guess it's not like too big of a deal. But like the big thing that makes this team good though, like with that, I think the team should be lower, but I can see why it's higher on the list solely because very very good synergy with basically 3 base Pokemon on the team. So it controls both Tyranitar and Stoutland. So basically, it has Sandstream and then Stoutland's Sand Rush, which makes Stoutland basically faster than every Pokemon on the field, other than like an absurdly fast Scarfer, which doesn't really happen. Or it's a setup mon. But yeah, with that basically allows the team already shows that it can be built with synergy to off the bat without even having to look at the other team at all. And then the last mon with that is since it's running Alolan Ninetales, it's able to use Aurora Veil, which is just absurd. Like that's a great move. And then looking at the team, there are a lot of Pokemon on the team that can abuse being behind a
Dual screens.
Aurora Veil. Yeah, like a dual screen, such as Mega Altaria. Like that's the big one that I looked at. Like Mega freaking Altaria trying to Dragon Dance, and then you hit it with like a move, and it does like 20%. That thing's gonna set up and just sweep you. Mm-hmm. So like this team, like I think using these is what it's gonna have to do to win. Because if it doesn't, it's team. I think. Mm-hmm. What are your thoughts on this team, Paco?
I'm just afraid of Mudsdale because I can see it 1 week just getting +6 defense.
Okay, yeah, like Mudsdale's a sleeper mon that came out. Like I feel that'd be really good in league format. Mm-hmm. Like I could see like he did draft a pretty good team, but like a lot of the team is just strange to me.
Mm-hmm. Who's next? Is it Jay's team?
The next one is Portland.
Do we pass Jay?
The next one on the list is the Portland Trailblazakin, okay, which is coached by Mason. Mm-hmm. And I am very shocked, or at first, how low Portland was on this, just looking at the draft, because Portland's team looks really, really good. Like, I think Portland's team is pretty freaking good. So looking at the team, I want to I'm going to read off Portland's team to you really quick, just because I think it has Garchomp, Jirachi, Jolteon, Mantine, Mega Audino, Mega Beedrill, Porygon Z, Rhyperior, Swellow, Tangrowth, Typhlosion, and Virizion. So looking at that team, like right away, obviously the thing that sticks out like sore thumb is freaking Mega Audino. But like, all right, I'll tell you right now, league format, Mega Audino is decent. Okay, like by far Mega Audino is the worst Pokemon on the team. But other than that, its counterpart Mega is Mega Beedrill. That thing's amazing. Garchomp has endless amount of sets. Jirachi has endless amount of sets. It has great walls and Mantine. It has a setup sweeper in Porygon Z. Just like I like this team a lot. Like I think this was a pretty well crafted team. But just with that, I think that really just has my say on it right there. Is like I think that this team is really good. It has a lot of Volt Turn with like Mega Beedrill using U-Turn, Jolteon using Volt Switch. There's just a lot of stuff like that. So I think this team has like a chance to do like really well this season.
Mm-hmm. Yes, under the good, I guess. I think it's all up to the coach really on how they use this team.
Yeah, for sure.
Because this team is good, but at the same time, I could seeing it being like I guess a hindrance if you don't know how to play with certain role with each mon. So I just say best of luck to Mason using this team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On there is the Philadelphia TM 76ers, which is coached by Jay. And looking at this team is honestly very slow, being very slow. It has a lot of trick room setters, so it can be a very good trick room team, and it's also a very bulky team. Like just naming off Mons, just off like top head, the first ones I think of that are on the team: Mew, Ferrothorn, Cresselia. Those are like of like walls and pivots and switch-ins, like, and like it doesn't just like solely stop there with the team either. Like the team has Slowbro, which is a good defensive mon. And even like its actual like attackers, like it has Araquanid, it has Druddigon, I guess, it has Mega Mawile, so ones that would actually be used offensively. They have like defensive capabilities with them. Like they're not bulky. It takes a lot to actually kill them. So this is gonna come solely down to like what Paco was saying about Portland last time, or for the last explanation. This is gonna come down to how well Jay can use the team. But if he can use the team well, the team will be very, very good.
Mm-hmm. All I can say for this one is I don't know if synergy. I feel like synergy would be the hardest part about this team, but each individual one I can see sweeping a team aside from Dredagon. Like he can seriously punish you with every single one of these like mons right here.
Yeah, that's true. Like, if you don't have anything to break through, a Ferrothorn will make your life hell. A Mamoswine can easily sweep a team. You know, if you can't kill Cresselia, you lose the game. I'll tell you that right here, right now. If you can't kill Cresselia, you lose.
Mm-hmm. And the Araquanid, I've seen that thing kill mons that like it shouldn't be able to.
Goodness, yeah, that freaking water bubble, its ability, right? That thing's broke.
Yeah.
Put that on a good mon. Oh, GG. But yeah, so the next team on the list is the Charlotte Beedrill, which is coached by Brody. And
Hey, you did it.
I'm sorry. This is the #1 team in the league that scares me personally. Like,
because the Empoleon, right?
This is yeah, sure. Yeah, we'll go with that, all right, Paco.
It's his first UU,
yeah,
that's all I'm saying.
Like Charlotte did a great job drafting. Like a great job drafting. Like the only criticism is they have a slight, and I mean like slight, ground weakness. Like 1, 2. How can that slight? 4 mons on the team that are weak to ground, but it has mons off the ground. It has mons that resist it, and just bulky mons in general. So like with that, like I don't know, like this team. All right, I'm gonna read the team. Okay, it scares me. Cofagrigus, Electivire, Empoleon, Machamp, Mega Venusaur, Regice, Terrakion, Togekiss, Toxicroak, Umbreon, Volcarona, and Zygarde. That team scares the frick out of me. Like, because here's the thing, like that's a team I would see myself using.
Yeah.
And the fact that there's another team out there that like that, and if it doesn't, like, here's the thing, this team is so good, like the coach doesn't even need to play that well, honestly. He can make mistakes and the team will still give results, and that's just terrifying.
Like,
what are your thoughts on it, Paco?
well, I think it's very similar. I think if I didn't draft my team, this would be Plan B.
Like
Mega Venusaur,
like OU, like, oh my god.
well, with all the Lele,
OU, like I was so like, hello, he picked Mega Venusaur,
yeah.
Volcarona, and Zygarde. Those are great Pokemon. And then I was just like, all right, well, he picked great already.
I'm fucking pissed.
I just have to like hope he doesn't pick good for the rest of like the draft. No, he followed that up with Empoleon, Togekiss, Terrakion, which made me even more scared than it was earlier. Like, I'm afraid of Charlotte this year. Like me personally, like I think if I'm gonna lose to anyone, it's gonna be to Charlotte.
And before we forget, I forgot to mention this is season 2. I did not bring that up earlier. I am sorry.
Yeah, so this is technically our season 2, because our season 1 was more of a
practice run.
Technically, this could be considered season 1 because the last season was more of like us trying it out and like for the first time ever. And Paco, do you want to tell them who the winner was?
I think we can get after this after we finish going over this team. But
all right,
to finish it off,
yeah, so
this is a very threatening team. I can't really consider anything on this team that fragile. Even Regice, which is an ice type, is a some way a tank. In some way a tank. Um, and Toxicroak, I guess, would be the second most fragile thing, but again, it has the ability, I think, what is it, Dry Skin? Makes it immune to water, and just with how good move a Scald is, most water types will be carrying that, so automatically, this is a very tanky team that you, unless you have a powerhouse or like a super effective typing and it's got a good base attack or special attack, you won't be knocking out most of these mons.
Yeah.
Alright.
Alright, so Paco, if you want, you can talk about the next team on the list.
Alright. Reigning again for the second season, we're going to be champs this year with our first pick, which was guaranteed because we won last year, Landorus.
Yeah, so the way our league works is if you win, your reward for winning is next year, you're allowed to pick a Pokemon that was on your team. And Paco did. Wait, it
Oh, wait,
Landorus.
I did mess up.
It was
Yeah.
Crocodile. You did
Yeah.
Crocodile, whatever. Just ignore him. He got that mixed up because he had the number one pick this year and he picked Landorus.
I still got the
But-
number one.
So basically, last season he had Crocodile on his team. This season he chose he wanted Crocodile on his team again. So his third round pick for UU this year was Crocodile.
And it was
He didn't,
guaranteed. It didn't have
Yeah,
to
it
be
was
top
guaranteed.
priority.
Nobody else could take it, and that got put in as his third pick. So he got to pick a 1 and 2 anyway, and he also got a Crocodile, which really helps Paco's team, just being able to get a Crocodile that should be gone, possibly round 1.
Mm-hmm.
He got it in round 3.
Yeah, it's a steal. Alongside, we bringing back not only Crocodile Victini, which was, I would say he was the Kyrie of the team, outshined by Metagross, but he's bringing it back this year. What this year I mainly tried to focus on was, I guess, making sure I have the power to break through walls and have a way to either whittle down my team, whether it be hazards or be speed. And I'm trying not to win that much with luck. I'm trying to go more with, I guess, a long drawn out battle. And just in case I do need a powerhouse, I have Slurpuff right there in case I want to bring that belly drum set. I think I only did bad in my lower tier, which is NU, but honestly, I want to bring back Ursaring and the other two. I considered I could see them being useful at some point, not throughout the whole season, maybe just key battles. Anything you want to say,
Yeah,
Neon?
so my thoughts on your team, Paco, is looking at it right now, and offensively, your team's scary. All right, you've got Crocodile, Lando T can be offensive. I'm gonna bring up Lycanroc because that's a good mon, I guess. Suicune can still be offensive, and that's really bulky. Victini can be really offensive. Tornadus T can be offensive. Galvantula can be offensive. You have like a lot of mons that are like pretty offensive, but at the same time, I can name Amoonguss, Lando T, Suicune, Registeel, so you can just switch in and then just have them work so well with one another to be able to continuously just really offensive or really defensive style, whatever you feel appropriate. And then not to mention with you have like strong attackers, but they're not all like top tier fast. They're always, some of them are just on the cusp. But yeah, you brought sticky webs on a Galvantula, so that's honestly all I have to say with that.
Mm-hmm. All right, we go over. And now is it number 2?
Yeah, number 2. I'll talk about number 2, considering number 2 is my team. I'm the Denver Doug Trio, and then for give a description of my team, I'll run through the members of my team really quickly, just kind of how Paco did. So my team consists of Celesteela, Emboar, Florges, Gligar, Heatran, Megalodios, Rotom C, Silvally, Snorlax, Tapu Koko, Tentacruel, and Weavile. So, looking at this team is just look at like you can easily just look at my team and say, the way I'm saying, it feels weird for me to talk about my own team because I don't want to it sounds like gloaty when I talk about it, but I don't know. There's just a lot of different sets each Pokemon can run. Like Heatran has a lot of sets, Weavile has a lot of sets, especially like in league format where if you have one Pokemon that's stuck in a set, like there's good Pokemon, but they can only be run one way. They're really predictable. There's a lot of Pokemon on my team that can just be run endlessly, and the epitome of that is Silvally. Not like Silvally probably won't come out that often, but Silvally is just, honestly, it's besides Doug Trio, it's the mascot of the team showing like I can bring whatever I want each week and things can change up. There's just a lot I can do with my team. It has a lot of very strong offensive threats in Tapu Koko, Megalodios, Weavile, the things like that, as well as defensive threats with Celesteela, Heatran, Megalodios, Tentacruel, Gligar, Snorlax, things like that. Florges. It's just like it fits each thing it needs to. And then with that, I'm gonna tell you right now. If I lose weeks, do you know why? It is because I have a tendency to do something. Like as a human being, all my friends know, all these guys know what I do. I'll be winning a match, or not. Like let's say we're even. Like I'm up like 5-3 in a match or whatever, and then this dude sends in his Keldeo, right? And he's just firing off hydro pumps, and I'm gonna try and kill it with my Volcarona with no setup. It dies. I'm gonna try and kill it with my let's say my Hippowdon, whatever, gets freaking one shot, and I sit there and I'm like, oh wait a minute, could have just brave birded it and everything. Like I do that a lot. Like I'll just sack mons for no reason. So if I lose a week because of that, Paco will have me on for a special about how bad I am at Pokemon. So yeah, that's that. What are your thoughts on my team, Paco?
All right. It has very scary threats all over. Just with Tapu Koko being really good, Mon, just from just the ability to set up your terrain and then Volt Switch. It does literally set up its own like terrain and gives itself a little boost, even though it's not like its stat isn't priority like special attack. Celesteela is a disgustingly fat mon. Like I can't see a lot of mons like one-shotting it. Like I see it as a better Skarmory without Roost. Like it's like a new iPhone. People will complain about one feature, but everything else will be good. Aside from that, Heatran's pretty good. Let's see. Heatran's always been a threat, and you have a lot of hazard control, so it's honestly a very versatile team.
All right, and now this leaves us with our number one team on the list. That's the Phoenix Solrocks, which is coached by Daniel, and team is a good team. Simply how it's put, like no more, no less. It's probably the best built team. Like the Pokemon that are on the team are Ambipom, Delphox, Donphan, Espeon, Magearna, Mega Metacham, Nihilego, Porygon 2, Rotom Wash, Toxapex, and Whimsicott.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this team is strong. Like, it's like, okay, just look at the OU. Like, he could have not drafted, and as long as he runs around with Magearna, Toxapex, and Mega Metacham, he'll just beat people. Like, that just had me just out of my mind looking at his team there. And then he drafted his UU, which is Rotom Wash, Nihilego, and Hydreigon. Out of this world strong. Like, he has so many different things he can do. He can set up sweep with Magearna. He can do Assault Vest Magearna to pivot absurdly. He has endless switch-ins with Tapu Koko with Toxapex, as long as he doesn't eat an Earthquake or a Psychic or an Electric type move. Just Hydreigon can pivot with U-turns, like can U-turn into Mega Metacham, let that thing kill things. Hydreigon is such a good Scarfer. There's just like, it's obvious Daniel put a lot of effort in when he was thinking about making his team, and if there's Brody's the number one team I'm concerned about, the Charlotte Beedrills, is because I'm actually just afraid of that team. But just the best built team is definitely Phoenix.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's a really good team. Even like I guess so now to me the biggest threats are like the Magearna, Mega Metacham, Hydreigon, and those are the biggest threats. But like Nihilego, even though I don't consider it that good, it has a crazy speed and it's got the ability Beast Boost, which can make it ridiculously crazy strong at any moment. And Amipon can just fake out literally like the most low key like non threats on his team can still give you like a little bit of trouble along the way.
But yeah, so those are the power rankings for week 1. We're going to continue to go over the teams. Basically, this is by far the longest power ranking because all the teams, you guys. But as like the weeks go on and we read the power rankings each week, we'll talk about who changed, where, why, and everything. So like as the season progresses, the power rankings will be short and sweet, just getting to the point, saying just a quick recap of what happened with them in their match that week, and then what a trend seems to occur, or just where we think they can go from there.
And just to let you guys know, we're ahead of schedule, so you will be right now I will be uploading every next day another video of the league. But as soon as we get to our current, I guess, point at where we're at, we'll get at least 2 videos on the league.
We're like right now we're a couple weeks ahead because we haven't had a chance to record and put anything up on the channel. So we're talking about this in the past tense, which is why it was a little strange for us to talk about what we thought a couple weeks ago. But yeah, so like the next week or two, Paco's going to be putting out a lot of videos quickly, just to catch up with everything.
Yeah.
But once we catch up with the weeks, it'll be just a steady flow of 2 to 3 videos a week.
Yeah. So this week and next week is going to be catching up, but after that, I guess, we're on current basis as the week.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so we'll be hitting you with like power rankings and highlights one week, and I also forgot, you'll be seeing my matches, all of my 9 and possibly playoffs. And aside from that, we'll always feature one team once a week, different usually. So don't forget to like, comment, subscribe so you can keep up with all of this.